Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, got a post here from the Cointelegraph that's been reposted by the HBAR Foundation, and they say, latest, Nasdaq files for 19B-4 to list and trade Grayscale Hedera ETF, in brackets, HBAR. Here it comes guys, here it comes. So, we started off with the Canary Capital, who did a filing for a HBAR ETF, and now we have the Nasdaq. Very similar to XRP, I will say, just in the sense of like, it just seems that once like the one started to come through, they all just started flooding it. You know, like that's what it seems to me now. Like it took a while, and then you know HBAR got an ETF filed for by Canary Capital. Now you've got one by the Nasdaq, and it's like, what more are gonna come? But I will say this, like, you know, the one thing I will say that I think is so great about this is that, like, it just shows where people are looking at Hedera, because, you know, I said this personally, and I still stand by it. I originally thought that Solana would get a filing for an ETF before Hedera, and it's not because of the, Solana being a better token than HBAR. It was just because simply Solana had a way higher market cap. Right, at one point Solana was beating XRP as the number 3 cryptocurrency, so I just thought it was more likely that they'll go with the the popular vote. But to me, what this shows is that I think they're going more off of the actual the utility potential rather than just price, right? Because, and I agree, don't get me wrong, I think that's the right way to do this, because I've said it before, like, you know, judging everything on price, it's a bad move. It's really not a good way to go, because prices can be manipulated, right? And so, you know, like, I'm looking at this now, and to me, I'm just thinking, well, you know, why did they go for Hedera over Solana? And I think the answer is pretty simple. I think that they believe long-term Hedera will be the better player, and I think it's because of the fact that Hedera is enterprise-grade technology. You know, I think it's something that they believe a lot of institutions and corporations are going to be wanting to utilize at some point, right? I really do think that they see the potential, and you've only got to look at things like the governing council. Like, that's a huge list of basically massive companies who are all helping to try and make Hedera a success, right? And possibly these companies will be utilizing the networks themselves in the long term. You know, like, they're trying to make use cases and stuff, and it's very likely they'll utilize the network as well for their own personal business dealings, right? So, like, you can see why people would want to go with a HBAR ETF. Like, it makes sense completely. It's good to see common sense being the actual approach, because, you know, usually, in all honesty, let's just be real, you just go with what's shiny and what's, you know, getting all the attention / hype, right? So you, again, like, you probably be thinking Solana because it's higher in market cap, but at the end of the day, you know, you got to understand that, like, it don't just come down to that, you know, like, because that can change at any given time. What doesn't change is how good the network is, how many people are adopting the network, the type of utility it can provide, the amount of use cases it's got, the amount of partnerships it's got. That's the kind of stuff that, like, it obviously can change if there's a problem, but that kind of stuff is pretty much solid. Whereas price changes by the hour, right? So if you're judging stuff by, like, market cap and stuff like that, you know, the whole market can be manipulated, and like, you know, Bitcoin could have a problem, and then that affects Solana, right, as a byproduct, because Bitcoin leads the market. So there's so many ways that, like, the price is just such a misleading example to use as your going factor in terms of what you're going to do. So I'm glad they're taking the right common sense approach. It's just surprising to see, because that's not always the case. It's not commonly the case. So I think this is great. And look, man, if we are still in this bull run, which I might cover a video on that a bit more extensively, but you know, like, I just think we're in a bit of an uncertain time now, and the reason why I say that is because I feel like the market's kind of being manipulated by Trump. If I'll be honest, I think we're in a position where he's kind of like just making up things as he goes along, and I don't know if it's because he doesn't understand crypto, or if he's just manipulating the markets, because there's been known activity of whales kind of like putting on leverage positions of buying and shorting the market when just before these announcements come out. So it does sound like insider trading, in all honesty. But who knows what's going to happen? We'll see. But if we're still in this, you know, bull run, these kind of things, like these ETFs and stuff like that, these cause like massive speculation pumps, because you got to understand, when you're in a bull run, it doesn't take a lot to get the market roaring, right? It only needs something, quickly that sounds positive and everyone's happy, everyone's going, insane. So at the end of the day, like, the possibility of what that could do if this gets filed and like actually approved while we're in the bull run, yeah, could that be another thing that like boosts its price and its potential? I would say so. I would definitely say so. And the Nasdaq's a really, it's a big deal. Let's not make no mistake, it's a big deal. So, you're really starting to see the Nasdaq that deals with like a lot of technology based companies and stuff like that, like, who are filing for the ETF. So you can see that they're trying to put it in the technology sector. So yeah, I think this speaks volumes, and rightfully so, rightfully so. I've been covering HBAR for a long time now, and I've shown you all the, the use cases and things like that, and the partnerships that they have. It's just a great network, it's just that simple. So this is rightfully, rightfully so, rightfully deserved. And obviously I'll keep an eye out for this just to find out if it does officially get approved, and I'll be sure to update you guys. But the fact that this stuff is happening, like, it's huge. Like, let's not mistake that, because we've gone through 4 years of absolute nightmare times with the SEC, when they had, Gary Gensler in, who was just trying to completely destroy crypto rather than help it. Like, to see the difference within just a few months of what we've got now and all the potential, I'll definitely take this any day, because, there's way more opportunity. So I'm glad to see that at the very least. So we'll see how things go. But huge news. Cannot be understated there. This is real big. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.